All right, so I want to talk about sharing folders and files using Google Drive. So you've got all your stuff stored in Google Drive, and you can access it from all your devices. You just sign in on your phone, or you sign in on your computer at work, and you can get to your stuff. But one of the best things about Google Drive and about cloud storage, storing things on the internet, is that you can collaborate with other people. So you can share files, you can share folders, you can edit them together. It's a great way to work with others. So we're going to talk about how to do that using Google Drive. So with Google Drive, you're going to share files, you can share folders. The one thing I want to point out right off the bat is that you need to be very careful here, because when you share something with others, you're giving them access to those resources, whatever it is you're sharing. So if you share it incorrectly, you might be giving much more access than you intended. If you, for example, shared your whole drive with somebody, they could get to all of your stuff. So if you're going to be storing things and utilizing the cloud for your storage, you got to learn how to do this correctly. So first thing, let's talk about how you might share something. Well, first off, let's say you have a document. You can share documents, but I prefer to share folders. So if you look right here, I've got my drive and I've got a folder called Decorating Ideas. And let's just say that you wanted to share your ideas with somebody else. And so I've got kitchen ideas and living room ideas. If I double click on kitchen ideas, you can actually see that there's this big share button right here that you can use. You can share. Right now it's private only to me, but I could click share and I could share with somebody else. I don't normally like to share individual documents because it can get a little bit difficult to remember who you've shared with and which documents you've shared. And unless you have a need to just share like one time with a group of people or with another person, one particular document, typically what we'd do is share a folder. So I'm going to close this. You could share this document by right-clicking on it and choosing share, but I'm just going to disregard the sharing of documents because I just don't think that's a great idea. Instead, I can share a whole folder, like I can share Decorating Ideas, which contains the kitchen ideas, the living room ideas, and any other folders that end up in here will be shared with whoever I shared this folder with. So that's the idea. Let me go back, and I'm going to go back to my drive. And I think we were working with, let's see, the Lions. The Lions Little League. And so let's say you're working with a Little League baseball team and you want to share with your coaches or share with your parents. So this is a folder. And so what we can do to share this, we could go to my drive and right click on it out here and choose share, or we could go into it. And that's what I usually do, is go into it. Now I know that I'm really sharing the right thing. Didn't accidentally click on something else. I go here and I do the drop down list. Now, this drop down, I want to point out something also very important right off the bat here. There's two things. You can get share or you can do a shareable link. Now, Google very recently, this is 2020, September 2020, and up till about 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months ago, they allowed this shareable link. And it was really difficult, but they've improved this a lot because people get very confused with share and shareable link. So they've improved the interface here. It's a little harder to get a shareable link, but a shareable link, it means that anybody who has this link can access that particular resource. In this case, the Little League folder. The Lions Little League folder. They could get to that. Not only can they get to that, but if they have that link, they can share that link with other people who could then get to that. So it's really bad security. It's okay. Like let's say you have a church, get together and you wanted to make an invitation and share it with the whole church. You might want to do a shareable link because you don't care who gets to it. Anybody, even outside the church, can get to it. So those are things you can do with a shareable link. But for the most part, I'm going to always chastise you if you use a shareable link because it's a very insecure way of sharing. But they've improved this so that actually either way you do this, if you click on shareable link, you'll have to sort of confirm that you want to do that. So they've improved this. But I always go to share. I go to share. And there's two pieces here when you share something. It shows who you've shared with. And right now I haven't shared this with anybody. This is me. And right now, if I get this link, it would only be, it would be restricted, meaning only people who I've added here would be able to get to this folder. Now, So what that's saying is that if I add them here, they will have to log in to Google in order to access this. And that's a lot better control than a shareable link that anybody can access. Only people added here can get to it, and you'll know that they got to it if they only get to it if they've logged in. So it's much better privacy and much easier to restrict people with this. So I'm going to go ahead and add somebody. Now I've got 2 Google accounts. I'm going to add Jim Kamak here. This is my other Jim Kamak account, jim.kamak@gmail.com. And so I'll call this my second account. I use one account for my Lamar stuff, and then I use this Jim Kamak at Gmail as sort of my personal account. So I'm going to share this folder, Lions Little League, with jim.kamak@gmail.com. So I'm going to click. Now, when I do that, I can make him an editor or just a viewer. So if you make him an editor, he can edit anything in this folder. He can add, delete files, and so forth, right? So you got to be careful what you want here, but I'm just going to go ahead and let him be able to get into that folder and edit. Okay, so I'm going to make him an editor, and I can notify him, and that'll send him an email. So and I can give him a message if I want to, and it's the Lions Little League folder. Now I'm going to click send. I don't like this word send here on this button because it does send him an email that says I've given you access, but it does more than that. It gives him access, and it will show up in things that are shared with him so he can get to it in other ways. So I would have preferred to have the word share here instead of send because it doesn't really convey what's happening here. But I'm going to go ahead and click send, and it's sharing that now. And notice this little icon here with multiple people show up, meaning it's been shared. All right, so now it's been shared with Jim, so the other Jim. So how do I get to that? Well, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to look in his folder. So this is the other Jim. I don't know if you can tell the icons changed. This is the other Jim, and I've clicked on shared with me here because that's where you go to look for things that's been shared with you. Notice Lions Little League is here now. So I actually shared earlier living room ideas with Jim but that's an older thing. So so this is the folder, and now this other Jim can go into Lions Little League and can get to the items that are in the Lions Little League. So that's how you would share. Now let me go back to this is the original me that I shared. I've shared this folder. If I go back to sharing, notice that they're both listed here, me, the original me, and my personal account that I've shared with. Now, how do I get a link to this folder so that, let's say Jim said, the other Jim said, hey, what was that link? What was that folder you shared with me? How would you get a link to send to them? Well, you could come down here to get link, and you could just copy the link. And the only people who can get that link, who will be able to get to that, would be me and the other me. Those are the only people that can get to that. So if you sent that link accidentally on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, it wouldn't matter as much because nobody could get to it if they hadn't signed in as one of these 2 accounts in Google. So let me show you another thing. If you have a shareable folder, something that's got a shareable link, I should say, you can change this and you can make it to anyone with the link. Again, that's not what we like to do, but I could copy that link there. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get out of that. Let me make sure I still haven't done that just to be on the yeah. So, I did change that. So I need to change that back to make that restricted to restricted. And I say done. So avoiding those shareable links is a good thing. Okay. So if you look at them now, it's restricted to only these people. Now, there's another way you can actually get this link. I'm going to escape out of that, and I'm going to come up here. You can actually take this link right here. This is a link to this folder, and so that's usually the way I get my links. And if I send that to Jim, or if I text it to the other Jim, he would be able to get into it because he's already has access to that. So that's a little bit on how to share a folder and how to access a folder and how to get a link to a folder. Remember, be careful with this when you share things.